Just thought I would take a few minutes to film a little bit here. Things have been weighing heavily on my mind, and I wanted to film a message to the city that I reside in, Winston-Salem, North Carolina. This is a city where not only do hopes and dreams get crushed and manhandled by soulless tyrants who have too much control over people's minds, behaviors, their thoughts, their activities, and what they're comfortable doing and saying, but it's also a breeding ground for the most toxic, evil, satanic practices that I've ever caught wind of. I know a bit, simply because I think, and me and other people on this planet Earth, I and several others, are reaching each other deep down more and more. There's just a lot of interference with our ability to derive good information and to form a solid basis for anything that we think, say, or feel. I'll say it again, make sure to download Skewy on an Android device and listen up and think, and then you'll figure out what that means. I don't have to spell that out. I think many of us deep down have a way of communicating that is without words. We are picking up on things, and I'm sure many people are horrified, and they're certainly scared into silence. You know, it's never encouraged that we call things what they actually are, or we point to an actual problem. The fact of the matter is, problems get snuffed out and covered up before there's ever any acknowledgement, and you can certainly have a problem without any acknowledgement. The problem will exist all day long. A solution simply won't exist without acknowledgement. So remember that. You have to acknowledge a problem to have any sort of solution for it. But those who are in control and who have this type of influence and sway over people that are malignant, toxic people, they don't really want you to ever acknowledge anything. They want you to sweep these problems under the rug forever until it's just a thinned out world with less real people that can actually do things that have autonomy. They want you to lack autonomy and to fall in line, and they want this hive mind to encroach, to harm people who are willing to speak of it. Like I always say, download Skewy. That is your basis for knowing that we're reaching each other deep down, at least intermittently. Like I said, there's a good bit of superfluous fodder that's just meant to cloud our minds and distort our realities and make sure that we can't point to anything or be definitive. But I want you all to download Skewy on your phone, and remember that they're keeping things hush-hush. There's been a lot of technological interference, and as well as otherworldly influence on this planet. There's a phenomenon occurring that most people don't think or speak of. They're just going through their lives in their emotions, in their routine, in the matrix, if you will, and they want to punish people who become awoken to this. I've been awoken for many years. I'm quite autonomous, and like many people, I am playing along with my environment. I understand that I have to get up and put my shoes on the same way you do, and I have to go to work, and I have to try to make a living, and I have to do normal things somewhat, but I don't spend almost any of my time doing normal things anymore. I'm thinking a lot, and I'm directing my thoughts to the right people, and I'm hoping that they pick up what I'm putting down, and I think that they are more and more. There's just so many methods of aversion, and I can't describe how this makes me feel to know this, but there are methods and avenues being taken to keep us from tangibly communicating and being real with one another. Those in charge, so to speak, those who have the wrong type of control, they seek to suppress that type of information. The thought of a lot of people coming together to point to a problem and to enlighten themselves and perhaps even empower themselves spiritually scares them, because many of these people in my midst worship a fake God at their church, and they claim to love Jesus, but they're certainly doing the most horrible, despicable things, and they fail to realize things for what they actually are, if you know what I'm trying to get at. Simply put, this whole experience has happened again. The lives that you're all leading, they've been lived before by a person that was just like you. And I believe those people are guiding your spirit. And you need to either be more like your spiritual ancestor or be less like them, depending on who you are. Life is a circle. I think we're literally living on a planet where we're, it's going to sound weird, but imagine for a second that human life is a simulation cast down from outer space that tests us, that gets worse and worse, because the wrong people have influence, and it's quite literally becoming hell on planet Earth. Imagine that for a minute. That's what it is for people who are spiritually awoken. If you're not, then you're probably just going through the motions, and a lot of you don't even realize why you're so miserable, and why things don't add up, and why there's a lot of animosity and hatred in this world, and it's becoming a cold, distant place. It's because of otherworldly influence. Planet Earth is resembling hell more and more, and you can't convince me that it's not. A lot of people uphold their false reality so well that it doesn't seem like they're miserable, and I fall into that camp too. I have many reasons to complain, and I've lived a life that's been very tortured and enlightened. You know, I'm a very blessed and cursed individual, I feel like. So I hope people can see the parallels and can derive what to do based on that. You're going to have to upset some people that do wrong. You're going to have to piss off some evil people in order to fulfill your spiritual purpose on this planet. And if you are to get called home, so be it. You have to do what's right, and sometimes that involves suffering even more. And I'll put it this way, I have a plan Z in my mind, And if I have to go suffer some more, that's cool. I'm still going to send my messages, and I'm going to say some things that disrupt the power balance and make people feel uncomfortable, because they need to feel uncomfortable. If you feel comfortable doing the things that you've done, many of you reprehensible scumbags in the city of Winston-Salem, especially people at the Masonic Temple, then I hope you know what that means. It means you have no soul. It means you don't care about people, and the future generation of children simply does not matter to you. So I hope you all take that into consideration with every action you make, and remember that everybody's being scrutinized more and more. They just haven't allowed the wrong people to be scrutinized enough, because then we would all see the problems and stop them. They want you to all be sleepy and to all miss the key bits that actually contribute to you understanding what life means. So I hope that means something to you. I love many of you, but I also despise many of you, and I can't even tell you that I do. So this is my way of doing it, I guess. But I hope you all figure out what that means. Allah bless everybody.